Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another edition of Adam Interviews. Joining me for this interview is Brian Bailey. He is the managing partner for Big League Chew. That's right, Big League Chew, which is now headquartered in Rochester, New York, which is crazy, Brian. This is unbelievable. I think you said in a great article that was written by my friend Dave Andriotta, you had said that if you were told 10 years ago that you would be, I think 10 years ago, that you would be managing partner of Big League Chew and have moved the headquarters to Rochester, you would have said that you were crazy.
Yeah, I think, excuse me, I think David asked me about that, and I said, I loved it when I was 10 years old in 1980. And if you told me when I was 10 years old, I'd say no way. But if you told me last year or 5 years ago, I'd probably say the same thing. This was not my plan to be the CEO and managing partner of Big League Chew Bubblegum and have it be in Rochester.
So before we get into all the amazing things that could be happening with Big League Chew, I want to have you help us tell this winding story. And you grew up around here.
I did not.
No, excuse me, you went to Cornell. You were a pitcher at Cornell University.
Correct.
And what happened after that?
Well, I eventually became a high school biology teacher and middle school science teacher at Dake Junior High and Irondequoit High School, and eventually became a professor of education at Nazareth College. And then late in life, I got a mind for entrepreneurship and business. I started a couple companies and worked for a local packaging company called Diamond Packaging, and just learned a lot about business, not having really ever thought about that. And through alumni baseball, Cornell alumni baseball events, I got to know Rob Nelson, and we call him Nelly. He's a character. He invented Big League Chew in 1980. He's 76 years old now, and around this time last year, he asked me to get involved and help him with Big League Chew. And so I talked to my wife, Heather, and there was just like no way I could pass that up. And so, yeah, a year later, and here we are.
So the story of Big League Chew is obviously incredibly interesting as well. From my understanding, it was Nelly saw a bat boy or a younger kid perhaps trying to be like an adult who, you know, they had the chew in the packets, and he had sliced up licorice, so it kind of looked like chew and ate it from there, and Nelly saw it.
Nelly saw it, and I would say that's what inspired him. He asked the kid, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he said, I want to be like the big leaguers. And it wasn't just any kid, it was Todd Field, the Academy Award nominated director and actor who's been in a ton of stuff. I think his big hit was In the Bedroom, and then he also wrote and directed Tar with Kate Blanchett.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like,
what are the chances
one
that
one of the most famous directors in Hollywood, and he was the bat boy who was chopping up the licorice. In fact, his mom is still alive. She still has the cutting tool that they used to shred the first batch in her kitchen, and I think she's in her 90s. But like really funny and lives in Portland still. All of this started in Portland when Rob was playing for the Portland Mavericks. And there's a great documentary about that team. And it was owned by Kurt Russell and his dad, Bing Russell.
What?
Yeah.
The confluence of fame here.
Yeah. And so, I mean, think about this. You have two Hollywood superstars who love baseball and buy an independent team, have open tryouts. They're not affiliated with a major league team. So they get a collection of misfits trying out for this team. And Nelly happens to be one of the misfits, a left-handed pitcher. There was a left-handed catcher on that team named Jim Swanson. Jim, his son is Tanner Swanson, one of the coaches for the Yankees. Jim Bouton was Rob's bullpen mate who heard Nelly come up with this idea and said, let's take it and run with it. So it was Jim Bouton really that helped Nelly find Wrigley and Amaral Confections, and in 1980, that's when they started licensing it to Wrigley and making Big League Chew gum. But you have a Yankees World Series pitcher in Jim Bouton who wrote one of the most famous baseball books out there.
Ball Four,
Ball
right?
Four, yeah. Very controversial book. But yeah, Todd Field, Jim Swanson, who ended up, he owned a bar in Seattle that all the players throughout the years would go. And there's a lot of interesting connections that came out of the Portland Mavericks. And that documentary film's on Netflix. I think it's called The Battered Bastards of Baseball or something like that. But it's really fun. And to think about all the things, including Big League Chew, that came out of that, it's a really great story.
I mean, a magical place at a magical time. You just don't get that very often.
Yeah, and that persisted for 45 years and sold over 1 billion pouches and still owned by the same guy.
Yeah.
Like, that never happens.
How did it happen? I mean, you must have had Wrigley or some other billion-dollar company come in. He must have been offered.
I think it's flown under the radar.
Wow.
Wrigley had
But it's
it for
everywhere.
30 years.
Yeah.
And everyone knows it. And when you say Big League Chew to someone, you could just see their face lights up, and it just brings back such great memories. But it's rare that you have something that I'm 55 years old, that a 55-year-old loves. Like, I get happy when I see Big League Chew, but a 10-year-old girl playing softball also knows exactly what it is, and their face lights up.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that age range of nostalgia for older folks like us, and something that's still really fun for kids. It's kind of cool.
It is, and we're going to talk about the local softball connection in a second here. But before we do, I mean, this is a day and age when if you establish a little microbrewery, it's bought out by InBev or some major. And the fact that this is still such a small company and it's everywhere, you like as you noted, I guess I just want to reiterate, you just don't find that anywhere.
And it's an interesting business model too, because it's a licensing company. So we don't actually make gum.
Right.
We don't make anything. We have the intellectual property that we license to. Ford Gum in Buffalo makes the gum. We have licenses with New Era Caps in Buffalo. They make our hats and pair it up with major league teams because they have those licenses. Bruce Bolt batting gloves, we license our intellectual property, so they make batting gloves in all the different flavors of Big League Chew. It's kind of a unique and interesting business model. And we have IMG, which is one of the biggest licensing companies in the world, who goes out and finds us licensing deals. And if we like it and it's fun and family oriented, then we usually lend our license to them. And there's some really cool ones that are going to come out next year that we've licensed to big brands that make Big League Chew licensed products.
Come on.
Yeah, it's
now,
gonna be
one of
fun.
the first connections that you had, correct me if I'm wrong, a local softball player.
I wish I knew more about this because it was before my time, but I know there was a girl with a connection that I think maybe she's from
Spencerport or something like that,
Spencerport,
yeah.
and she's was on the pouch of strawberry flavored Big League Chew.
Wow.
I forget what her name is, but if you said
I'll
it,
grab
I
it
would
from
recognize it.
while you
It starts with an A.
Yeah, we'll grab it from Dave Andriotto's reporting here because he really did such a nice job. If you want to go out and read this article, it's fantastic. So when you got this opportunity, did you think, I mean, what crossed your mind when you said, I could be running Big League Chew?
I think it was a bit of a somebody pinch me, and I still don't fully believe it. But it's when I get to meet Aaron Judge and he's on the pouch of Big League Chew, and when I get to meet Bo Jackson because we're doing a trading card with a game he's releasing, that's when it really feels surreal that I'm meeting some of my heroes, and then I also deeply care about Rob. He's such a sweet human being and kind and generous, and he really needed help. He's one person, and it feels good to be in that role, but it also feels really surreal sometimes.
Yeah, Elena Berry, by the way.
Elena Berry, that's
is the
it, yeah.
softball player. So you get this job of a company that's based in Portland, Oregon. How come you didn't have to move out there?
Well, I think because it's a licensing company, I feel like I could do the job from anywhere. And the fact that, Rob's from New York originally. Rob's from Long Island. Mm-hmm. We both played baseball at Cornell and Ithaca. And Rob loves upstate New York. He loves Rochester. The gum's made an hour and a half away in Akron.
And it was even before you brought it over here?
It was, yeah. Since 2010, it's been made in Buffalo.
That's
by
amazing.
Ford Gum. And then prior to that, it was made in Chicago at Amaral and Wrigley. But Rob said, if it makes sense to me, let's have it just. And by world headquarters, keep in mind, we have a little office on Elton Street in our friends, it's a loft space that used to be a candy factory of all things.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
The connections. Neighborhood of the Arts. I mean, it's right down the street from here.
It is. And it was important to me to have like an office in the city. We have a bunch of gum there that we send out for promotional purposes. We have a collection of some of our hats and gloves and things that we do with other licensees. But yeah, it's nice to have it be here in Rochester, and we want it to be something that Rochester embraces and recognizes that Big League Chew is a global brand, but it's here in Rochester.
And I think it's a wonderful place, given that Red Wings is one of the oldest baseball franchises. I think it's the oldest AAA franchise and one of the oldest. I mean, we are a baseball town, so this kind of makes sense.
It does, and Rob knows that.
Yeah.
Rob loves the Red Wings like I do. Rob, we did a first pitch. He threw out a first pitch at Big League Chew Day at Red Wing Stadium. Dan Mason and Naomi Silver are huge fans of Big League Chew, and we're huge fans of theirs. So, hopefully we can continue working with them and supporting them and the way that they've supported us.
Absolutely. So what does this job look like for you? I mean, it seems like this would be heavy travel, lots of hours. Am I mistaken there? Or?
Not so much heavy travel, but because it's an intellectual property company, there's a lot of contracts. We work with a really wonderful law firm here in town, Bond, Shenick and King.
Yeah.
They've been amazing. We work with a local accounting firm, RDG1, partners, just some really great companies that we work with here. But it varies. Like, when I was doing the interview with David, I had just gotten off the phone with Aaron Judge's agent to talk about what we're going to do for his. We're going to do some interesting flavor. Like, there's new flavors coming out, and Aaron Judge is going to have his own flavor, and stuff like that. Like, I went to the Hall of Fame 2 weeks ago because we have a partnership with them, and there's a pouch of Big League Chew in the Hall of Fame. It might be, talking to our licensing agency to hear what new projects they have in the hopper, and we have to approve them and then sign agreements with those licensing agencies. It's really a bit all over. But I love it. Every aspect of it is interesting to me, and I'm learning a lot, but I'm also, having a lot of fun. And, if there's anything about Big League Chew that we're committed to, and Rob says this all the time, we want to lead the league in fun. And so I do have a lot of fun in my job, but, it can be stressful sometimes. Like, we have a licensee right now claiming that they own our intellectual property.
Oh boy.
So, there's litigation, there's, investment, there's a lot that goes into this, but to me, it's all really worth it, and most of it's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, you have major company pluses and major company minuses. I mean, you're dealing with, world-class agents, and I think what I find interesting, I've interviewed some people who are giants in their own right, but they're based here in Rochester because of family, but everything about what they do or the company they might run is outside the area. You've got the manufacturer just to the west of us. You're working with a law firm in Rochester, and your actual office is in Rochester. There's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah, no, we feel lucky to be here, and a lot of the support for us is right here in Rochester. So yeah, we wouldn't dream of being anywhere else.
So did Aaron Judge get to pick his own flavor, or are you going to make the flavor and say this is?
So when we first started talking to Aaron Judge, it was in like February, March timeframe, and And so it was too late in the cycle to do his own flavor. So we settled on Grand Slam grape, the
Okay.
grape flavor that you see there.
Right.
And he really liked that. He loves the grape flavor. And so it was cool. I got to go to a photo shoot in New York City and meet with him and get a bunch of content for our marketing plans. And he could not have been nicer. It's just so gracious. But then, the talk when we signed the agreement was, let's see if we can come up with a unique flavor. And so, I've learned that Aaron Judge really likes sour and he really likes cherry. So who knows? We might have a new flavor coming out for Aaron Judge in 2026. And we have time now to figure out what that is. So we're working with Aaron and his agent, and we're working with Ford Gum and trying to come up with what our plans are. But it's going to be something cool. I think you'll like it.
I feel like Giancarlo Stanton is going to give him a lot of grief if he ends up having to buy a pouch of gum with his teammate's face on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Grand Slam grapes in the market, we send a bunch to the Yankees. So
Yeah.
I'm sure, it's a cool thing for Aaron Judge, but it's also probably he takes some ribbing from his teammates, because no one has their face on the pouch of Big League Chew. That's a very unique thing. And we get offers all the time for famous athletes wanting to have their face on Big League Chew. And we respectfully decline because we don't want to, have it be too territorial and regional. But someone like Aaron Judge, he's not just the face of the Yankees, he's the face of baseball. So we feel like he's universal in his appeal globally. And putting him on the pouch is not really a hard decision.
Yeah, and plus you got Aaron Boone, who just cannot keep the gum out of his mouth.
I know. I have a good friend who's the catching coach for the Yankees. I'm gonna have to ask Tanner if Booney, goes for the Big League Chew or if he's going with a competitor.
Yeah.
I'll find out.
All right.
And if not, I'm gonna make sure that Booney gets his own case because when it comes to blowing bubbles, there's no competition.
It's unbelievable. It'd be like the most tense moment, and then it looks over, pans over to him, and he's got like the giant.
We had a cool moment last year in the World Series. Bob Costas said, "Well, Aaron Boone's really going at the Big League Chew tonight," and it was fun to hear Bob Costas talking about Big League Chew, and that's the first thing that came to his mind when he saw Aaron Boone blowing a bubble. But yeah, it's fun. There's all kinds of cultural moments that I notice, whether it's Family Guy or Rick and Morty. There's always someone referencing Big League Chew in popular culture.
Yeah, it's interesting. It made me think. I just showed my son Moneyball, which tells the story of Billy Beane.
I love that movie.
And there's a line in there, and it speaks to the fun that you were talking about with Big League Chew. It said, everyone gets told eventually they can't play the kid's game. It might be at 18, might be at 40, but everyone gets told.
Yeah.
And, I thought to myself, yeah, it's a kid's game.
It is.
And I think that's part of the draw, the whimsical nature of it, and it's encapsulated in that little pouch.
Yeah, and I think we all feel like little kids when we rip open a patch of Big League Chew, or like when we go to a baseball game, it brings us back.
Yeah.
Or when I get to meet Aaron Judge and I feel like a little kid. A, he's towering over
Exactly.
me. And B, I'm a huge fan. And I don't really fan out too much, but I was a little starstruck when I was talking to him and, meeting him.
Absolutely. Oh, are you kidding? I would be at a loss for words. Where do we go from here then? I know you got some big things in the hopper.
Yeah, I think we're going to look for opportunities to license beyond gum. And I think there's a lot of products that we can license our intellectual property onto, whether it's sunflower seeds or freeze pops or T-shirts. We have a lot of great opportunities coming down the road because it's a beloved 45-year-old iconic brand. But it's also, we have IMG, one of the best licensing agencies in the world, who can open doors for us and have. So yeah, I think we'll keep having fun. We'll keep finding good people and good partners to work with, and we'll keep it in Rochester.
Savannah Banana, potentially?
Oh, it's such a great thing that's happening with that. And we have so many connections. Like, I've become friends with the dancing umpire through Big League Chew and some of the players. But yeah, we had some talks with them this summer, and they asked if we could pick them up again once the season is over. So I think, October, November timeframe, we'll definitely revisit a partnership with the Bananas. And I think it'd be really cool if we did
Absolutely.
a banana flavored shredded gum and put one of the Savannah Bananas on it. How much fun would that be?
All right.
Two fun brands coming together.
Let me know if you need me to pressure them.
Okay.
It's interesting. You obviously have to rub shoulders with some people who have been in the business world their entire lives. I mean, the pinstripe suit kind of people. You were in the classroom teaching biology. Do you feel like you fit in with this crowd? How does that work when you're in those rooms?
Yeah, I mean, I've had, I've got 10, 12 years of business experience now.
Yeah.
In the beginning, definitely I felt that way 10 years ago. I went from being a college professor and having a PhD in education and being really good at teaching, but not a lot of business background. And I think I've learned a lot since then, but I also discovered that there's a lot of overlapping skills. And as a teacher, you have to be a good listener, you have to be organized, you have to follow through on what you say you're going to do, you have to be trustworthy. There's a lot of things that I feel like teaching prepared me to work in the business world. At other times, I see a lot of greed, I see a lot of unethical behavior. I see some things that wouldn't necessarily fly in the education academic world, but I guess that's true of any profession. But by and large, I feel very comfortable, and I feel like I've gotten to work with a lot of really good people.
You know what I think teachers have to, my whole family are teachers, I'm the black sheep. You have to become a storyteller. And from the little I've talked with you now in the article, I think that you're now built, you have the capacity, which you may have had initially anyway, but to tell the story of Big League Chew and to stay excited about it, one class after another, one room after another, is to continue to tell the story.
Absolutely, that's a great point. I think you have to be a storyteller, and I think you have to make a convincing argument, especially as an academic. So I think, my background in research and giving lectures and things like that definitely help tell a story and make a convincing argument.
Yeah. Is there any worry? I mean, it shouldn't be a worry, but you said it kind of flew under the radar. You got a lot of deals coming up. You got Aaron Judge. This is going to perhaps level up the company, if I may. That someone bigger may come in and say, we can afford that.
I mean, I guess I hope this goes on for a long time under our leadership.
Yeah.
But in business, I think you always have to listen. If there's an offer out there and someone says, we think we can put capital behind this and we want to make you retire now because we have an offer, well, we're happy to listen. Yeah. But it would have to be something that makes us want to choose not to have so much fun anymore coming to work. Yeah. And for Rob, that would be a consideration. He's 76 years old. He may say, you know what, this has been a good run for 45 years, and 1 billion pouches later, I'm ready. And I would respect that. That's his call.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And hopefully that bigger company, and there's no reason that they couldn't, if they keep that fun alive too.
Yeah, and my ideal would be, give me 5 years to grow the company before we have that conversation and get bought out by somebody much bigger than us. Because I think there's a lot of brand equity, a lot of value in what we're doing that hasn't been done. And if I can have, 5 or 6 years to really pour some rocket fuel on the brand, I think it'll be worth a lot more.
I would agree. And by the way, this series, we do an interview every night. So if you do want to get Aaron Judge here, we won't refuse him. I just want to let you
You know, I'll throw that out there. I'm sure he's a huge fan of Rochester from his times, playing for Scranton.
Yeah.
And,
well, he got called up to the bigs at Dinosaur Barbecue in Rochester.
There you go. Huge connections.
Yeah.
Maybe in the off season I can get him.
Is he a little busy right now?
Yeah, he might be a little busy. He might be doing a little vacationing once the season's over, once they've won the World Series.
Oh, please.
I think it's going to happen this year. I have a really good feeling about the Yankees this year.
It is magic losing Cole and everything like that, and I think he'll catch every ball in the outfield. From here on out. So.
Yeah, and hopefully our pitchers cover first base on ground balls.
That's right. Brian Bailey, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure interviewing you.
Real pleasure, Adam. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, what a gem to have Brian and Big League Chew here in Rochester. And you know what? Rochester can fit both because we are a big baseball town. So again, thank you to Brian Bailey, and thank you so much for watching yet another Adam Interviews segment. We are going to keep them rolling with people who are doing amazing things in our community. With that, take care.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.